It started as something peaceful. I never thought I'd be telling this story as a warning, because the graveyard I visited wasn't the kind you see in horror movies. It was beautiful, historic, quiet, a sanctuary of old stones, crooked trees, and the kind of silence that feels almost holy. I went there on a warm August afternoon. The sun was setting, painting everything gold. At first, it didn't feel scary at all. If anything, it felt comforting. I told myself I was there for photography, for the moss-covered headstones, the angel statues eroded by time. But if I'm honest, I went because I liked graveyards. They made me feel calm. They reminded me of history, of how many lives came before mine. I thought it would be a safe place to clear my head. But looking back now, I think it was waiting for me. At first, everything was normal. Birdsong, the crunch of gravel under my shoes, even the faint smell of flowers left by some family earlier that day. But as I wandered deeper between the stones, the air changed. It wasn't colder exactly, just heavier, like the kind of air before a thunderstorm, thick, pressing on your chest. And the sounds stopped. No birds, no insects, not even the wind in the trees. I remember pausing, camera in hand, realizing the silence was wrong, unnatural, like the whole graveyard was holding its breath. And then I noticed it. One of the headstones, an old gray one with lichen crawling across it, was tilted, leaning. I could have sworn when I walked past earlier it had been straight, perfectly upright. But now it leaned, like someone had shoved it when I wasn't looking. I raised my camera to take a picture, and just as I pressed the shutter, a shadow passed across the lens. No one was there. I told myself it was nothing. Maybe a bird flew overhead. But when I checked the photo, there was no bird, no insect, no blur of motion, just a streak of darkness across the gravestone. A shape too tall, too thin, to be anything natural. That's when I started to feel it. Like I wasn't alone anymore. Like something was standing just behind me, watching. I spun around. Gravel crunched, but the rows of stones stretched empty in every direction. And then I heard it. A laugh, soft, childlike. It came from the far corner of the graveyard, near the oldest stones. I froze, because I knew. There were no children there. I should have left. I should have walked straight back to the gate. But something pulled me deeper. A curiosity, sharp as hunger. I followed the sound past statues and marble slabs until I reached a clearing. And that's where I saw the light. A flicker, orange, like candlelight. But it was still daylight. I moved closer. My heart was hammering. And there, sitting at the base of an old tree, was a glass lantern. Inside, a candle burned. Its flame steady, its wax barely melted. The problem was, there was no one else in the graveyard. And when I crouched to look closer, I realized the lantern was filled with fresh earth, soil from the grave beside it. And scrawled into the dirt in jagged letters was one word: stay. The rush of adrenaline hit me all at once. I stumbled back, heart pounding, telling myself someone must have left it there as a prank. But then the whispering started. Not one voice, dozens. Low, overlapping murmurs curling around me from every direction. I couldn't make out words, just the rhythm, like a crowd at a funeral I wasn't supposed to attend. I clutched my camera like a weapon, turning in circles. And then, something moved. A figure. Between two stones, I saw it. Tall, too tall, black as shadow. Arms long enough to brush the ground. It didn't move like a person. It flickered. Here, then gone, then closer. And when I blinked, it was standing right beside the tilted gravestone I'd seen earlier. Its hand rested on the stone, and the stone leaned further, creaking, like it was being pushed down into the earth. I bolted. My shoes slipped on gravel, lungs burning, the whispers chasing me down the rows. The iron gate loomed ahead, and as I reached it, the whispers cut off. Silence. Total silence. I stumbled into the street outside, chest heaving. The air felt lighter instantly, like I'd crossed an invisible threshold. I swore I wouldn't look back. But of course, I did. And through the gate, I saw the lantern still burning, its flame steady in the daylight. The soil inside it marked with that single word, S-T-A-Y. I made it home that night, shaken but relieved. I convinced myself it had just been atmosphere, exhaustion, a trick of my imagination. But that night, I woke to the smell of fresh dirt, thick, earthy, clinging to the air of my bedroom. And faintly, almost beneath hearing, I thought I heard whispering. The same overlapping voices. I checked every corner. Nothing. But when I turned back to my bed, my camera was there, resting on the pillow, even though I'd left it downstairs. And on its small digital screen, a single new photo glowed. It wasn't one I'd taken. It showed my bed, from the corner of the room, taken while I was asleep. And at the edge of the frame, a figure, tall, thin, hand pressed against the wall. I never went back to that graveyard. But sometimes, when the house is quiet, I still smell the dirt. And when I close my eyes at night, I hear the whispers building. The same word over and over. Stay.